David has graciously said that he'll take some questions.
Thank you for that interesting talk. It really educated a lot of us. I wonder, almost in the spirit of transparency, if you could tell us what the real conflict was at the medical school, and tell us, wow, tell us, and tell us why, or tell us about what appeared, at least in the paper, to be incredibly large salaries or compensation to a number of people who didn't appear to have a lot of effect on the medical school.
Next question. So I was actually at the Cancer Center this morning, and we had a national, it's called the External Advisory Board, which is national leaders in cancer research. So cancer center directors and associate directors from around the country, a group of about 12 of them. So they spent a day and a half here talking with people inside the center and outside the center. We had Senator Roz Baker, who is very involved in American Cancer Society and advancing cancer care. So let me first say a word about the center. The center, and so this is a really good example. This issue popped on my radar about 45 days ago. Before then, I didn't think about it much. This is the only cancer center within 2,500 miles of any of us in this room. So I'm not going to ask you to show your hands, but just think about for a second people you have known who have had cancer, and whether you think they got the best care in the world here in Hawaii, or whether they thought about having to go somewhere else, to Seattle, to Texas, to Chicago, to the East Coast, to get the best cancer care in the world. So it turns out that the best cancer care in the world takes place as part of a research enterprise, where the novel therapies are unrolled before they go into routine use. And so the university made a commitment under previous leaders to say, we need world-class cancer care for the people of Hawaii, and that cannot take place without a world-class cancer center, and that must be part of the University of Hawaii. So let me say that as a backdrop. So indeed, the cancer center director is, if you leave out athletics, I think he is the third highest paid employee of the university, along with the chancellor of the UH Manoa campus and the dean of the med school. And there might be one more in there that I'm missing. So it's in the 400,000, I forgot the number, low 400s. That is what cancer center directors get. So if you want to have a world-class cancer center, you need to pay a world-class salary. And I'm personally not ashamed of saying that out loud. What I am ashamed of is the drama that has played out in the press over that. And this is, I'll say that when I read the feedback about June Jones' departure, people would say, we should have paid him the $1 million to keep him here because he was winning. And that's how people feel, I think, about medical school deans and cancer center directors, that if we want to have one, and I think we want to have one, I do believe that, then we have to figure out how to have it. So what has taken place, I'll just give you a simple and impersonal explanation as I understand it, is that we have had to shift the direction of the cancer center to focus on what do we have to do to provide world-class cancer care to the people of Hawaii. And there are a lot of people who have been at that place a long time who have had a different life. And change is not easy, and that is what is, unfortunately for us, playing out in public.
David, thank you very much for taking on this job, because I think it's pretty difficult. I'm a proud graduate of UH, 78 BS and JD in 81, and it's kind of hard to be proud in the last few years. This is my advice to you.
Thank you.
Let's find somebody to lead this university who's not a loser.
Who's not?
A loser.
A loser?
We pick all the losers on the mainland that screw up on the mainland, and then they come back out here and say, well, if you can't make it on the mainland, then we maybe can make it in Hawaii. And that's a really negative thing. I've gone through probably 20-something presidents since I was a little kid at the university. The only one I can remember that was actually a stellar person was David McLean. And outside of that, Hamilton maybe. That was a little earlier than me. But let's find someone who's world class. Whether they're from the international, or they're from the mainland, or from Hawaii, I don't care. But let's find somebody world class who can stand up to the commie legislators and run the damn university like it should be. Aloha.
It's purely coincidental that I raised my hand. Thank you very much for your graciousness and for your time. And I'm here with actually former Representative Corinne Ching. Also, we sat on different sides of the line. But as educators, and this is my question, as educators, we always had our young people and the best interest of our future through our young in mind. Can you explain to us and maybe share how are the students involved in the future of the university, in planning the future, in the leadership, and maybe even in the process of finding the head of school?
So I was really thrilled, and Jody quietly typing in the back had a lot to do with this, but yesterday our students went to the Capitol and they held a press conference to explain to the legislators that they would like to see their facilities fixed. They would like to support the Board of Regents budget and the governor's budget, which would allow us to do that. And I think getting students engaged positively in dialogue with legislators is a really good start for that. The head of the student caucus, as we call it, is on the Presidential Search Selection Committee, and I think he's been around now and active for over a year. So he's sort of understood the ropes. It's hard when people are, it's a revolving door, as you know from your time, kind of got to learn the ropes a little bit at first. And I think that's part of it. We have a huge number of activities that go on, and I know time is short, but I'll just give you one example that I think is really great, and it's service learning, where we start getting students involved in service in the community, and they're doing things working with Kapi'olani Community College, does STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, educational programs in Palolo housing. The students learn and they're helping a community that really needs a lot of help. Those young kids begin to develop the skills and the capacity to be contributing members to society in the future. So just one, thanks.
David, thank you.